I'm here with Minister Sachs. Minister Sachs, do you think Justin Trudeau should resign?
Every day it's just something else here in Canada. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David, and today's top story here, we've got Justin Trudeau on another vacation, new footage coming out. We've got yet another Liberal MP calling for him to step down. We got one of Trudeau's ministers questioned and gets pretty feisty. We've got a member of the NDP saying they will not support a vote of non-confidence in Justin Trudeau, despite Jagmeet's apparent plan to vote Trudeau out. Among some other stuff, let's jump into this.
And there's more political turmoil for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The Atlantic Liberal caucus is now calling on him to step down as party leader. MPs sent a letter to Trudeau following a caucus meeting Monday, asking him to resign. Mackenzie Gray is following developments in Ottawa.
Well, and the Liberal caucus might have been inspired by the end of the Canada Post strike because they just can't seem to stop writing letters to the Prime Minister. And no, they are not pleasant Christmas cards. The latest group to publicly call for him to quit, the Atlantic caucus. We reported last week they met to discuss Justin Trudeau's future, and Wayne Long, one of the most outspoken Liberals, has posted a letter that was sent to Trudeau after the meeting.
We've got Cody Blois here. This is Liberal MP calling for Justin Trudeau to step down. This is yet another crumb snatcher sticking their head out. The Rats trying to get some of that cheese. They want to save their jobs before they're all going to lose their Liberal seats. This one says, Prime Minister, your leadership through the past 9 years will absolutely leave a positive and consequential legacy on Canada. Yeah, right. We got Trudeau tents and Trudeau towns, homelessness and people starving. That's his legacy. So he goes on here to butter up Justin Trudeau, and then he says the country could face instability, blah, 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 incoming tariffs. Simply put, time is of the essence. Our caucus is of the view that is not tenable for you to remain as leader, and we need to allow for necessary conversations to transition to take place. In that regard, I've been instructed to write to the National Caucus for an urgent National Caucus meeting, blah, blah, blah. Like, where was this guy a year ago? Where was this guy 2 years ago?
Issues with Atlantic MPs have dated back over a year, and Trudeau tried to smooth some of them over by taking off the carbon tax on home heating oil, which is widely used in Atlantic Canada, a move that was welcomed.
But ultimately, these types of announcements that are being made today is the prerogative of the Prime Minister. And Prime Minister, on behalf of our caucus, I want to say thank you for listening to our feedback, but also showing vision.
Global. What a crumb-snatching loser. The bootlicking is unbelievable by Cody Blois. Ugh.
Turns out that vision might have been one of the death kneels of the Liberal government. It left a gaping hole in their signature policy, the carbon tax, which the Conservatives have exploited, now ahead in the polls by 25 points. And it's that gap with Pierre Poilievre that has Atlantic and Ontario MPs wanting Trudeau to leave, which, if you add them all up, Anne, now shows a clear majority of Liberals telling Trudeau he has to quit.
So, Mackenzie, could the Liberal caucus make history by appointing an interim leader?
So the letter does talk about trying to have caucus pick an interim leader, and saying they'd get the ball rolling in January if Trudeau doesn't quit. But it is important to note there is no mechanism for anyone that can force Trudeau out. If he's quitting, he has to come to that decision on his own. There's also never been an interim prime minister in Canadian history before, and now would be a particularly challenging time to have someone come in with the threat of 25% tariffs looming over Canada. If Trudeau does quit, the most likely scenario would be for Parliament to be prorogued, a Liberal leadership race would be announced, and he would officially leave as PM once a new leader is picked. A situation that looks increasingly more likely, Anne, with more MPs calling for Trudeau to leave with each passing day.
And they would want this race, this leadership race, to be 3 months. They'd have to condense that down. He'll probably prorogue, but I've got a clip coming up here showing maybe he's not stepping down, despite what his good buddy Gerald Butts said about him stepping down. I don't want him to resign. I want an election. I want to remove the whole Liberal Party from power in the government. Canadians should not be held hostage while the Liberal Party takes 90 days to choose a new leader. We want an election immediately. Call an election already. This is insane. There's no way to remove him. He is unstable. Speaking of Justin Trudeau, we have got new footage of him on his second ski vacation. So he went to Red Mountain in southern BC, and I believe this one's coming from somewhere around Kelowna. Okay, so we can't have that audio in there, but it says British Columbia skiing. You got to look at this. So he's wearing this red toque, right? Just wait a second here to see what it says on that toque. So there it is. Number 1. Justin Trudeau's the only guy who wears a toque that says number 1. This guy's narcissism is unbelievable. Like, wow. Just wow. What kind of response does he think he's going to get from his video? He's shooting this footage. It's not someone else. Like, why post this? So apparently he posted this on TikTok. According to government EXE here, it says he's too much of a coward to post this on X, but he posted it to TikTok just fine. Speaking of losers, we've got Charlie Angus here, NDP MP, says he will not vote non-confidence in Justin Trudeau's government, despite NDP leader Jagmeet Singh saying that his party would do so when Parliament resumes. So apparently Charlie Angus, it said somewhere else that he's afraid of Pierre Poilievre winning and taking over the government. This guy's got to go. Like, a lot of these guys need to go. So this guy here posting his riding, yeah, pretty close. Charlie, I don't know. And we've got some more footage of Justin Trudeau. I'm assuming this is at some sort of restaurant, lodge, chalet at the ski hill, getting trolled and humiliated by Canadians once again.
Yeah, that's him, all right.
Look at this guy, real hand talker Trudeau. Oh, I did this and I did that. Everyone loved me. Oh. You can see a lot of ski jackets and stuff. This is some sort of chalet. I don't know where this is. It looks like he's wearing ski pants. So Trudeau enjoying his second ski vacation here. Still wearing those teen girl bracelets too. Does he really have those on? He does. He's still got those stupid bracelets on.
Yeah, that's him.
That's unbelievable. It's so creepy and weird. Can we get rid of this guy? Now, to contradict this, I'm sorry, I know this is a lot of Trudeau here, but this video was just released. Does this sound like a guy who's stepping down? You decide.
2025 is just around the corner, and that means that we're almost in an election year. Our Liberal plan has been investing in you to deliver $10 a day childcare, dental care, and pharmacare, and more affordable homes. Our work to build a strong economy that works for all Canadians.
This buffoon standing there with a hard hat on. Like, what is this? Come on. Like, remember that footage of him trying to use a hammer and he was holding it backwards?
Homes. Our work to build a strong economy that works for all Canadians isn't done. And all of our progress is at stake with Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party pushing for deep cuts to the programs Canadians rely on.
Really? You're using the footage of Poilievre eating the apple and destroying the woke reporter? Like, come on. This is the last piece of footage he should be using.
Only with your support can we keep building a better future for everyone.
That greasy, like, cheese bucket smile, this little grin at the end, the slimy little... bleh. Cockwoombo, a person, usually male, prone to making outrageous, stupid statements and or inappropriate behavior while being very high opinion of them, their own wisdom and importance. That's Trudeau right there. Drag him out of the House of Commons in a straitjacket. So next up, we got Liberal MP Yara Sachs here, and she is questioned a whole bunch of things. She doesn't like this and grabs the guy's camera, like, got some rage issues here. The caption here says Yara Sachs was at Bathurst and Shepherd today and refused to answer any questions. Yara Sachs has normalized Hamas supporters in the Toronto Jewish community.
I'm here with Minister Sachs. Minister Sachs, do you think Justin Trudeau's going to resign? Are you grabbing my phone? You're in public, Minister Sachs. Do you believe that Justin...
Yeah, you can't. You're in public, exactly. You can film it. She doesn't respect other people's property.
Resign. Minister Sachs, are you going to vote no confidence in the upcoming election? Minister Sachs, do you support the ceasing of Israel-Canada relations? Minister Sachs, do you support Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau?
You really shouldn't be walking back here. There's all these wires.
Yes, Minister Sachs, why are you walking back here, Minister Sachs? Minister Sachs, will you be voting to keep Justin Trudeau in office or out of office? Will there be an election coming up soon, Minister Sachs? Minister Sachs, can you tell us the meaning of Hanukkah? Minister Sachs, do you have any thoughts on Hanukkah, the Maccabees, Israel?
There's some pretty savage trolling, journalistic trolling. There she is standing with a terror lord. Next up, we got Scott Reid here on CTV talking about Justin Trudeau resigning, proroguing the whole situation. We're getting pretty close to where Justin Trudeau is going to have to make a decision. Is he going to go back to Parliament? Is he going to prorogue? Is he going to step down? Is he going to call an election? What's he going to do?
Now, the Liberals are dealing with a chunk of caucus members who want Trudeau to step aside. Should he continue, and why isn't he responding to any of these calls?
I guess our best supposition is that the Prime Minister decided that he's just going to hit pause until the holiday is over. I don't think that sentiment is shared by his caucus. You have this latest member of Parliament, but Frankly, over the holidays, my conversations with members of the government caucus have led me to believe that people have already moved on. They're working on the assumption that the prime minister will leave. They're reluctant to consider what happens if he chooses not to and what they may have to unfurl in order to get him to leave. But many of them are no longer having the conversation about whether the prime minister will leave. They're now moving on to, can a leadership race happen? How would it happen? Under what rules? Who will run? All of that kind of jockeying is happening as the prime minister basically just stands in the tall grass until we pass New Year's.
And really, this is all happening as we stare Trump 2.0 in the face in the White House. So what are the options for the Liberals as we, deal with this important issue?
Well, it's a really important question. Now, to be fair to the government, Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc, Foreign Affairs, Global Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, they were down yesterday, a couple days ago, I guess I should say, on the 27th, I suppose it was. They were down on Friday, meeting with their counterparts from President-elect Trump's team, trying to engage on borders.
Yeah, Trump wouldn't meet with them, so Trump's basically not going to waste his time with Trudeau's people anymore.
Security issues, trying to engage on tariff issues. So work is ongoing. It's not like the government has gone into sleep mode. But the prime minister is silent. The prime minister doesn't appear to be focusing on these issues at present.
Yeah, because he's on ski vacations, multiple. Yeah, I mean, as I already pointed out, Red Mountain, the one that's happening today or yesterday, Big White, Silver Star, wherever he's at, he's not running our country. He's just enjoying some free taxpayer-paid vacations.
And really, the questions that hang over him are about his own future. It is an urgent matter, though, because we have this external force, this external threat, and it very much is a threat of Trump and these punitive tariffs coming at us. And so the prime minister is going to have to clear the air and speak in public with respect to his own future as soon as that New Year's ball drops.
The Conservatives are bringing in a non-confidence vote at the end of January, which, according to what we've heard from the NDP and the Bloc, as well as the Conservatives, it doesn't look like the government will survive. Is there any other option?
Well, the prime minister's driven himself into a box canyon, so there are limited options. He can prorogue Parliament and avoid what appears to be a certain non-confidence vote. There are little parliamentary tricks and mechanisms you can employ to maybe delay that vote to the end of February, possibly into March at some point. But the probable course is that he will prorogue Parliament, which means effectively that Parliament doesn't sit, therefore there'll be no votes, therefore there's no threat of non-confidence. But even that option comes with big strings attached, because at some point the government has to engage in what they call the business of supply. That means financing and funding government, and for that Parliament's going to have to sit. So February, March, at some point, even if the prime minister prorogues, that is going to be the end of the tape, and that is the problem.
I believe he only has to sit for one day of the year. If he wants to prorogue, he could do it all the way until October 20th and just have the election. So I've got it here. It says under Section 5 of the Constitution Act 1982, it states there shall be a sitting of Parliament for each legislature at least once every 12 months. So technically, he could prorogue until October 20th and just have the election. It would be silly and ridiculous, but if he just wants to keep taking advantage of our money and going on vacations, he could do that. There's nothing that's stopping him. There's nothing in our Constitution that prevents that. No one has ever done that. Prorogations usually only last a short period of time, a couple months at most. But what will he do?
The government faces. Can it have a leadership? Can it put in place a new prime minister in time to deal with Trump and tariffs, in time to face supply? Maybe somehow try to see if they can survive a confidence vote. If not, then to carry them into an election campaign as early as this spring. I'll tie it all up for you in a bow. We're going to have an election this spring, Renee. That is almost inevitable.
When you talk about prorogation, the Liberal Party's 2015 election campaign platform, did it not include a specific pledge not to abuse the use of prorogation for political gain after they criticized the former Conservative Prime Minister? Could this not be seen as a breach of trust and go against his own pledge?
That's what that's worth. You're not going to see too much hand-wringing over this. Look, the government, in order to give itself the room to maneuver, it may be forced into prorogation. If not, we will see the government fall in the House of Commons. And it's tied very directly to this question of leadership. If there's going to be a transition in leadership, if the prime minister is going to step down, which feels like it's almost inevitable, then proroguing at least gives the party some time to marshal itself, to organize itself. It's not clear, by the way, under the party's constitution that it even has the ability to conduct a race within the tiny window that will be left available to it. But somehow, some way, if you prorogue, you can at least give yourself the breathing room to pick a new prime minister, move forward, and then probably face a very quick campaign.
So as for that campaign promise, I mean, Justin Trudeau's already prorogued with the We Charity scandal back in 2020. Trudeau was facing scrutiny over awarding $912 million student grant contract to We Charity organization with ties to his family. He prorogued for 6 weeks starting August 18th to September 23rd when a new session was opened for a throne speech. Justin Trudeau is no stranger to proroguing the government. He's going to do it again, but the problem is after his throne speech, or if he steps down and some other Liberals' throne speech comes in, it won't matter. It'll go to an election. They're not going to get confidence, except for Charlie Angus, and we'll finally get an election.
That promise made 10 years ago, I think that is that is going to get left standing on the highway when one is facing the likelihood of the guillotine. Old promises tend to fall.
So I think Scott's right. It's going to happen here in the next couple of months, unless Trudeau's completely bonkers and just prorogues until October. As always, when times get tough, Trudeau runs and takes another taxpayer-funded holiday. There should never be another Trudeau allowed to become PM. I agree. Trudeau is the grinning face of evil. He's a drama teacher who wants to play prime minister. So over 80 of his party says he should step down. They're finished. They need to get someone else in there very quick. And jumping over to my group, let's check out some memes. When you think the kayak will balance itself. These scams are getting more and more complex. Nearly fell for this one. Hello, I'm the IRS and you need to pay me $1,500 in Walmart gift cards. Greater Canada. Human smuggler guilty of 9 murders given Canadian passport. Okay. Is Montreal becoming New York? Yuck.
What's that?
That is gross. If you want to see some rats, go to Vancouver. Go to the Burnaby Public Library just outside of Metrotown. You'll see some rats right at dusk. That is one of the most disgusting things you'll see. Well, there you have it. More Liberals calling for Trudeau to step down. He releases an ad talking about him leading the party forward. Is he going to step down? I don't know. His buddy says so. I'll believe it when I see it.